The calls for restructuring of Nigeria has come from different individuals and groups, and the presidency says they are unwarranted and unpatriotic. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garuba Shehu, said that such calls were recurring threats to the corporate existence of the country. According to a statement, the president will only walk through and in line with the parliamentary processes to finding solutions to structural and other impediments to the growth and well-being of the nation and its people. And joining me to discuss this is a social commentator, Michael Adeleye. Good to have you join us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Now, this is not the first time we're hearing, calls for restructuring, of the country. This is, again, we're hearing these calls from the different regions of the country. But the president seems to be saying that this is a threat to the current existence of the country. What do you make of this?
Thank you very much. Let's start from the basis. Why restructuring? Why do people are agitating for restructuring? There are a lot of indices that actually brought up this discussion. Now, when people begin to agitate and begin to ask questions, there must be one or two things that actually has formed the basis of that agitation. Now, this is a country that we all believe that we should be one as a nation. But it seems like some part of the country, some people, some religion, ethnicity are benefiting more than the other. Now, I'll give an example. This is 5 fingers, okay, on the hands. They're not equal, but one has to support the other. It should be complementary. But when you call away one of the fingers away from the 4, collectively, it's not going to work. So the point we're trying to say is, let us begin to look into the indices why people are agitating. If you take the South Side, for example, this is the region where the majority of what actually sustains this country is coming from. But if you go to that part of the country, the sort of life they actually live in that part of the world, this country, it's just unbelievable, it's unbearable. Now, these people are crying.
So if I may just jump in here, because this is a challenge that lots of people have.
Yeah.
You have talked about restructuring in terms of marginalization.
Yeah.
Now, while there is a consensus in some circle that maybe the country needs to be restructured, but if you put every one of those people in a room, you're probably going to get different answers as to how we should restructure. You are talking about marginalization. Some people are
That's
talking.
Just one of them.
Some people are talking about devolution of power. Some people say community policing. There are a lot of things here, and doesn't that leave people confused as to what is really restructuring?
Majorly, primarily, it's economical. When people are actually agitating about restructuring, it's about economical. I mean, the economy is not actually been I would say, enjoyed by every individual as we expect it to be. Now, if you look at how things have been done now, I mean, we have the Odua, we have the Afenifere, we have the IPOB. All these people are groups which is enshrined in our constitution that they have to be a part of the country. But the point is, why have they begun to pick up tools and begin to become political? It's because there's something wrong somewhere. I mean, we have the politics on one side and we have the group on the other side. But when one group or one ethnic or one division of the country is being marginalized economically, mainly, then you begin to see all these things happening. Now, I am looking at the destruction of this country. I mean, ideally, we shouldn't be talking about division, but what we should be talking about, which people are talking about now, is restructuring. We need to restructure every part of the country.
So restructuring, sorry, I'm jumping in again. Restructuring would sound like we had a structure that isn't working, or we have a structure that isn't working, so let's restructure. So, but what is the one thing that you think we need to fix that might make everyone happy? You were talking about marginalization. What's the one thing we can fix that all regions will say, look, we're now satisfied because this has been taken care of?
Right, okay. Now, if you look at the port which makes this nation, which is the oil sector, that is what actually sustains this country. Now, what we are saying is some part of the country are benefiting more than the other. Now, if you marginalize a section of the country, we actually produce the majority of the revenue of this country, they're not benefiting at all. Now, what do we expect them to do? they'll be crying foul that, look, we are feeding this nation, but we're not having any part of it, any advantage of it. So restructuring in my own time means let us all sit down, call everybody together. We've had all this in the past, over the years, over the decades. But what is the result? The last administration, Jonathan administration, had a confab. Everybody said that they spent billions of taxpayers' money. What came out of it? Nothing came out of it.
Right.
Its predecessors are the same thing. But now, let us be genuine and say, okay, we want to restructure. Let's bring everybody on board. Ethnic, religion,
I'm afraid we do have to leave it there. We'll see how, the presidency has given its response. We'll see how it plays out in the coming days. Social commentator Michael Adeleye, thanks for talking.